Are y'all ready for this?
Good morning. It's Darren from Resurrection Auto Detailing Tint Protection with another episode of Coffee Time with Resurrection. Today we're joined here with Jordan. So what we've been doing is trying to kind of ramp up our customer to employee engagement so you guys can meet our team and get to know them just as well as you know me. So I got a series of questions here that we're going to ask Jordan, and we're just going to kind of run with it that way and see how things go. So Jordan, how long have you worked here?
I will be here for 2 years in October.
Nice. And what do you do?
I am our operations manager, so I take care of mostly the clients and making sure that everybody has the best service possible. Then I also do like the ordering of the products, the paperwork, a little mix of things. And finally now the social media. Darren's let go a little bit and is letting me work on it a little bit more. So
which has been tough for me because I'm the type of person that if you want something done right, you do it yourself. So that's a little hard, but
it's fair. You can see the difference in our posting. You can see who's who, but we're working on it, right?
Yep, personal touch, right?
Yep.
So in talking of all that and joining our team and getting a whole bunch of different things added to what you do in your job, what was the biggest thing to learn joining Team Resurrection?
I think that I didn't know much about the car world in general. It was all brand new when I walked in. I didn't really know what I was walking into, to be honest.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I definitely got to learn that like customers were more than a transaction, which I think I always knew before, but it kind of played in more that everything is like open and we want you to come over and have coffee and we want to hang out, and it's not just like come in and leave. Like we want to hang out. We want to get to know you. We want to know that you're taking care of the best as possible. For sure.
And like that's the one thing I always tell people, like in detailing groups and stuff like that, and something I've talked to like Sean from Orbisex and stuff, that for us, we don't have customers, we have clients. And the difference is that, you know, customers come in, they see you once, they purchase a product, and then clients are people that are needing you on a consistent, regular basis. And I think that just differentiates us from a lot of people where we have clientele rather than a customer base. And I think that's probably one of our biggest learning curves here is like the understanding that like when you walk in the door, you come in as a customer because you're purchasing a transaction, and then you become a friend. And then eventually, you know, we have so many clients that are like really close to us, like family, right? So we're always checking in on them and stuff. So that's really good stuff for sure. What sets Team Resurrection apart from other work teams you've been a part of?
I think Zach touched base on this too, that it's more of a family than it is just workplace. There is only 6 of us full time, so there's always one person's missing, and it's definitely evident. And you definitely know that we always have each other's back. Like I know that if I crash my car, then I know who I can call to come and help me, right? So that's always it's a nice little feeling to know that everybody's got my back at the end of the day.
Yeah, and like my wife always makes fun of me. She calls me the human billboard because if anyone's ever looking for somebody, they know who to call.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think everybody here kind of treats that the same way, where they're like, oh, you know, I know this person or that person, because everybody here gets to like engage with our clientele and stuff like that, which I think is really huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't really get that anywhere else. Like when I came from the body world, it always sucked because I never got to see what the clients, the customers, I guess, they're what they felt like when they picked it up. So to get like, you know, in a crash, which is a huge, that's a huge problem for a lot of people, right? And it's kind of messes with you. And then you fix up the vehicle, and then I'd do the finishing work, and then they would get the vehicle, and you never actually get to see. But then you'd hear the stories of, oh, they were so thankful because, you know, they were having bad dreams about the car, and maybe the car wouldn't get fixed. And that was pretty tough. Where here, everybody gets to see like first value of what that customer is seeing when they pick it up. And I think that's huge for people, which is another reason why we do all the before and after. So that way we see it before and then we see it after rather than in the center. And I think customers or clients really seem to appreciate that anyways, I would say.
Absolutely.
What is your favorite thing about being here or being part of the detailing industry as a whole?
Oh, that's hard. I think my favorite thing being here is how many cool things I see, because it's definitely a different world. With that being said, like I have made a lot of cool friends, a lot of people I probably wouldn't have had a relationship with had I not have worked here, which is pretty cool that I definitely have immersed myself in a world that I wasn't prepared to, and I love every second of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you kind of did like some serving jobs and worked in hotels and
and I was going to school to be a psych nurse, and then I had a baby and I dropped out, and then I was like, well, maybe that's not what I want to do, and I found myself here and I wouldn't take it back. So.
Yeah, and that was actually like a push from my wife to bring you on, because she knows how I am, how I want to engage with clients and build relationships, and that's probably more important to me than than the sale. Is
Yeah.
actually the relationship that we gain from it. And yeah, like when Cheryl was like, I think you should interview Jordan because she's really good with people and she's good with conversation and stuff, and kind of pushed it on that way, which I think was a huge asset.
Yeah,
Because I was
absolutely.
kind of on the fence. I'm like, I don't know if I want to hire somebody that's not a car person, because
Yeah.
I want people to come in and feel comfortable. Like, okay, this person knows cars, but obviously we brought you in. You didn't know anything about cars. Matt and I have worked with you quite a bit to like learn it. And I think most of the people here aren't necessarily car people, but they're like, they enjoy automotive industry and they enjoy what they do. So instead of enjoying working on cars where they're like, oh, I get to work on, you know, supercars or exotic cars all day, it's more of, I get to do this job every day, and just it separates the difference of like enjoying the job versus like enjoying the cars you get to work on, which I think
Yeah,
is huge.
absolutely.
What is one thing about our service you can't stress enough to customers?
Protect your investment. We say it over and over and over again, and I will yell it in my sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one. And I don't think people really get what that means. So paint protection film, exo shield, ceramic coating. It's not a sales pitch. It's like, it's literally, if you are in the market to purchase a vehicle or you're in the market to protect the current investment you have, I think it's super important to protect them with those benefits, because it is literally so important, and it's the second largest investment you're ever going to make, right?
Yeah.
So obviously people and their families are number one, number two would be house, and then number three, as far as like a purchase, would be your automotive investment, and especially in today's market, because cars are so freaking expensive,
yeah.
right? So
I feel like one thing that sets my opinion aside is, again, like, I'm not from the car world, so I was like, whatever, protect your investment, whatever that means, right? And then as I've seen the new cars come in, where it's a brand new vehicle that's in the bay and it came in and you're like, shit, that's not great, right? Like, that needs a full paint correction before, or like the piano black pieces on your windows where you're like, you'd never think that you should protect that, and in 3 months they're gonna look like shit.
Yeah,
right? And
for
it's
sure.
just, it definitely opened my eyes to like, there's more to protect than you would actually think,
Yeah.
right? So it's not just spend some money. It's actually like, that's a big ticket purchase and you should protect it while you can.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
then you keep it looking optimal, and then your investment remains an investment up until the time you trade it in or sell it, whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
absolutely.
But I remember when you first started quoting for like coatings and PPF, and you're like, well, it's brand new, it doesn't need paint correction. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So we kind of let you run with that for a little bit. And then every car that came in, I'm like, Jordan, look at all these swirls, look at all these scratches, just from transport, just from sitting in the lot, you know,
Yeah.
waiting on parts, from the wash practice once it hits the dealership. Like, there's so many different series, shrinking of the product, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much that now you've like completely changed your mind frame of, well, it's brand new, to this might
let's take
still
a
be a
look.
thing,
Yeah.
right? We need to see it first. So I'm going to put that on the quote so clients understand what this could entail, right? So, and I think that's kind of a huge thing from a non-car person to understand.
Absolutely. I think too, is I was scared to talk like extra money, or like, oh, I don't want you to spend more money than you have to. But at the end of the day, it's not spending more than you have to. It's spending to make sure that it's an optimal thing, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to. But here's X, Y, and Z as to why this is probably a good idea. Otherwise, that's sealed forever.
Well, and it's
right?
like protection, right? So like people purchase life insurance, not in the event that something is going to happen, but in the event that something might happen.
Yeah.
So we don't buy cars to like, oh, it's going to get so many stone chips. We buy cars and then we get the product to put on it to protect it. And it's like, okay, I don't want swirls and I don't want stone chips and I don't want these issues to happen. And I want to save time going to the car wash and washing my vehicle. And like for me, coming from the car world, ceramic coating to me when I started was like, you have, you know, the maximum depth, gloss, shine to your paint. And like, that was important. Going into a car wash and spending 5 minutes before a car show, that was important to me. And then as I kind of got into it, I'm like, wow, like the protection side.
There's so much more to it. Yeah.
So 2 different avenues. I was a car guy. You weren't a car person. And then just seeing the difference that everything leads to the exact same spot of like protecting your investment, no matter if it's a show car or regular daily driven vehicle, right? So,
I like to think of it like you wouldn't put a screen protector on your cracked phone. So why wouldn't you protect that? Like fix prior and then protect it, right?
Exactly.
Because you're going to have not the outcome that you're looking for at the end of the day.
And then you wouldn't wait until you drop your phone, break your screen. You're like, oh, now I got to get this fixed. It's
Yeah.
typically you get a new phone and you're
And
like,
you protect it right away.
put
Yeah.
this screen protector on there, right? Or it comes with it and nobody
Or your
peels
case
it off.
that's going to protect those corners, right? Like
Yep.
you protect your investment when you get it. So same idea.
And cell phones aren't cheap anymore either.
No, they're
actually.
not.
Really
Nothing's
expensive.
cheap anymore. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's some of your hobbies outside of work?
I have a 2-year-old, so she takes up most of my time. Our newest thing is gymnastics. Shout out to Circle B Fitness.
Yeah.
That's where we're
That's a
going.
good one, yeah.
But other than that, like I like to hang out with my friends and my family, and I like to just try to give her the most entertainment we can find around. So
Yeah.
that's
And
about
like
it.
right now, I guess your partner, he's working out of town.
Yeah.
So a lot of mother-daughter time, I guess, right now.
Yeah,
right?
we've got lots of fun dates that we weren't doing before, right?
Yeah.
Where we like go sit down at a restaurant, eat by ourselves, and I was like, oh, that felt like a weird thing to do before, but she loves every second of it, so it's
That's good.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just spending extra time.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
So if money was no object,
Okay.
and Kobe's working out of town, he made a whole bunch of money, and he's like, Jordan, I'm going to buy you a new vehicle for you and Leighton. And you guys went and bought the new vehicle, and you're like, Kobe, we need this protected. And you came in here as a client. What services would you get to protect that vehicle
I have no criteria behind that. Like I just protect it altogether.
altogether? What is like A to B, money's no object. Kobe's like, here's my credit card,
Okay.
slap her down,
Yeah.
let's do it.
I want the new Chevy Blazer. I think it looks so sweet. A nice black one, blacked out tint. It looks so nice on the road. I would want that. That's hard. Well, obviously, I would say everything if that's the case. I mean, paint protection film to protect against your daily wear and tear, your stone chips, that kind of thing. Also helps with your trade-in value.
Mhm.
I want it to be black, so I know that I'm going to need to make sure that paint's optimal before, and to coat it to enhance that gloss. It's up to 35%. I've seen your truck's black. It was nice afterwards, but
Yeah.
with that coating on there, it's a world of a difference even in the color, right?
Yep, for
So
sure.
the gloss, the depth, the whole 9 yards. So I would do that as well. We now offer undercoating, so I feel like that's something
one.
also. It would be a good one to.
An exo
That's
shield,
one.
because the Chevy
Oh.
Trailblazer probably has like the adaptive cruise cameras in the
Which is
Windshield?
impossible to fix those, is it not?
Yeah, and then you got to get them like recalibrated if you have to replace the windshield. So that's not
fair.
ideal.
So I guess my response is everything. I would want everything.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
yeah, it was there
And then
for
you
a
would
reason,
want to
right?
purchase like a maintenance package because
Oh, of
Kobe's
course,
paying
because
for it.
so I have to
let's
spend
make
all
sure.
his money. I need to make sure it's clean all the time.
Yeah, make sure
Yeah.
every 3 months it's rolling in, right?
Absolutely.
Kobe's paying for it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not my problem at that point.
So what were some of your goals when you started here, and then like are they still the same goals or have they changed, and if they've changed, kind of where are they now?
Absolutely. So when I started working here, I didn't really know what I wanted at that point, right? I was just like, this seems like a cool team. This seems like a fun environment. I'd like to check it out and learn something new. And I can definitely say, like, within a month of being here, I was like, oh, like, I actually really enjoy it here. I see this as a future thing and that kind of thing. And now I look at this more of like, this is actually my career, and I'm excited to see like what we can do as a team and what we can bring on. So my goals before were kind of just like, I need a paycheck and I'm
Just wing it?
I'm just winging it,
Yeah.
right? I don't know what I want. I just dropped out of university. I just had a baby. Like I was just like rolling with the flow. And now I definitely see it as like, where can we go as a team going forward? So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
And I think there's some things in the mix. I know 2022 was kind of a tough year for us, just with the new car market, used car market, just a lot of learning and adapting with our team and stuff like that, and some other things that were thrown in the mix. But I think 2023, we have some really cool things. Like you said, we just added undercoating to our services, which I think is huge because we do get asked that a lot, but it's kind of always on the fence about it. But now we've like hooked up with some people that can do it, and
Absolutely.
yeah, we can take care of people in that respect. We're looking at a bunch of different services, which I think is huge.
Yep.
So, and then of course having the Swirl Assassin now, we can pick up boats and campers if we need.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the spring brings,
Yeah, it
right?
should
It's
be
hard
good.
to tell in the winter. Like the winter is just touch and go to me. I'm like, it's still exciting. Things are still rolling. But once the snow starts to melt, things are a little bit more fun around here, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they get a little bit more active, right? And the wheels start, instead of just one wheel rolling, and it's like every wheel starts rolling against itself, and you're like, oh, here we go.
Here we go, right? And that's what's exciting. I want to feel that buzz a little bit again.
Yeah. Well, it makes the day go by quick, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. This has been another episode of Coffee Time with Resurrection. We are drinking Forbidden Flavors coffee, which we keep in our showroom. She's got Starbucks.
Yeah.
She's a trader. Yeah, so if you guys are ever kicking around or whatever, feel free to pop in and see us. Coffee's always on, and we're always open to conversation. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for taking the time, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I have a question for you. What would you say our most underrated service is?
Most underrated service.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Because there's a few. Like, I think like our most prime ones would be auto detailing window tint coatings. But I think our most underrated would be a toss-up between our yearly maintenance package, because that brings people in every 3 months.
Yep.
And then keeps your vehicle optimal throughout the year. But I think I would have to go back to our roots, which would be our powder polishing.
Okay.
So I think it would probably be our Revival polish. So it's a 2-stage polish. You kind of go around it, we zip it, and then you kind of get what you get. It removes 60 to 80% of the swirls. And I think for most people, especially if they're on a budget, that's probably one of our key ones, because we can supply that to almost anyone with a vehicle, and then we can still seal it with ceramic coating, which I think is huge. And then you still get like a really good looking vehicle with shine and minimal swirls anyways, or scratches. So I would have to say that our Revival polish would probably be our most underrated service.
Perfect.
Which is weird, because it's actually one of the services that like built the business. Because when I was
absolutely.
mobile, that's all I did, right? Hot rods and Harleys and boats, I just polished them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be
Bring
our
you back
most
a little bit
underrated.
on that one. Yeah.
I think we
Bring
need
it back
to,
to
yeah.
your roots for sure.
Yeah, back to 2018.
No.
Here we go.
I think the Revival polish is my favorite too. I think we should do something special with that.
Yeah.
We'll do a little back to our roots.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, back to the golden ages
Yeah.
of being mobile and working out of a cardboard box all by myself.
Maybe you should bring mobile back.
It might be a thing, I think.
Yeah.
Now we got the Sorrel Assassin. That's a good vehicle to go with.
There you go. That's our new 2023 surprise, guys.
Yeah. Awesome.
Darren's wheels are turning now. We'll
Yeah.
see what comes from that.
Yeah, don't trust me with turning wheels, I'll tell you that.
That's fair.
They usually turn a little too fast and too far.
That's fair. Usually your ideas kind of drag me along with you these days, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Awesome. Yeah, that was a good
Sounds
question,
good.
actually.